From pigs to ducks to a peacock, people have made headlines flying with their emotional support animals.
I think that if the person has a real need, they should be able to take their animal on a plane with them.
But what about the people who don't have a real need?
They're abusing the system.
Some airlines have recently tightened their policies, convincing some people are trying to do just that.
Yeah, so just what does it take to get an emotional support animal and fly with it? We sent Amy Wadas and her cat on a mission to find out.
Okay, this is her car seat.
Marcia Sokolo Spitz.
Sit down. Thank you. Good girl.
Takes her Morky Coco almost everywhere she goes.
She's just such a good girl. She's used to traveling all the time.
Coco even flies with Marcia.
It's very calming. You know, I was never a fan of flying. And I always had my husband's hand to hold and squeeze when the takeoffs and landings or any of the turbulence.
But Marcia's late husband isn't here anymore to hold her hand, so her therapist recommended Coco become an emotional support animal to help her deal with the loss and help her fly. There are certain guidelines a licensed professional must follow when writing an ESA letter.
Only licensed healthcare providers are supposed to write these letters. I won't write a letter unless they're, one, my client, two, the animal is well trained and behaved. And in the letter, you have to state why the animal is there, what the animal does to support the client. They usually want to know some sort of diagnosis for having the animal.
The airline also requires a signature on the letter and a license number. But on March 1st, 2 airlines tightened their policy even more. United is one of them.
They have to provide confirmation that the animal has been trained to behave properly in a public setting, so they have to check that box. Additionally, we're asking that they provide us with health and vaccination records signed by the animal's veterinarian.
Delta is another airline cracking down. According to Delta's website, the airline has had customers who tried to fly with comfort turkeys, snakes, spiders, and more. They say ignoring the true intent of an ESA animal does a disservice to customers who have a real need for them.
Okay, so how easy is it to fake it? I decided to see how the process works, so I logged onto a website for a company called CertiPet to see if I could get my 5-year-old cat Simba to become certified as an ESA animal.
The site is one of several where a licensed medical professional will write an ESA letter for you if you pay a fee. I had to answer a bunch of questions involving my mental health, like whether I've felt down or had anxiety in the past week. I answered honestly, then paid the $149 fee. And in just a few days, I got an ESA letter in the mail, written and signed by someone named Luann Rossi. The letter says she has a license in Pennsylvania. To find out if it really worked, we booked a ticket to Miami on American Airlines, told them that Simba was an ESA animal, emailed the airline a copy of my letter, and went to the airport. Simba was in a carrier that fit under the seat in front of me. When we got to the gate, the airline attendant didn't even glance at my letter and said I was okay to fly.
What's your kitty's name? Simba.
We boarded the plane and I flew with Simba a good portion of the way on my lap, which you're allowed to do with an ESA animal.
As you can see, my little guy Simba and I made it to South Beach here in Miami, and we are going to check out the sights while we're here.
Simba got to experience the sand for the first time, hear the ocean waves, and do a little sightseeing.
Ready to go back to Pittsburgh?
On the way back, we got to any problems.
We're going to Pittsburgh.
This time, the airline attendant in Miami did look at my ESA letter before boarding, and we had an uneventful flight back home. But what about the ESA letter I got online? Should it really have been that easy for me to get one?
In our opinion, that is not a legitimate document. If a customer's medical professional has not signed off on it, then we're not going to be able to accept that document.
In fact, Ellen Freza March suggests people stay away from these types of websites.
These individuals who are writing it don't have a therapeutic relationship with the person. They don't know anything about the animal.
I think that makes it more difficult for people like myself who really have legitimate need to have an animal with them.
I reached out to the therapist who wrote my letter, but never heard back. However, Certipet did respond. They told me their therapists make decisions based on what clients tell them and assume they're being honest. They admit some people might be abusing the system and are thankful that airlines are cracking down.
Wow, it's very interesting. Simba's adorable. I love cats, but I'm actually allergic to them. A lot of people are. What do the airlines do about people who may have allergies?
Well, believe this, the airline said that they will try to move the allergy further away from the person who's bringing their pet on board, and if for some reason that doesn't work, they will actually try to rebook them a later flight on that airline.
All right, so if Simba were just your pet, as far as the airliner is concerned, what would it have cost to bring Simba in the cabin with you?
It would have cost $125 each way. So as you can see, $149 is a significant savings if you're flying with your pet a few times a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.